Welcome back to the Playdate by Freshly Picked. I'm your host, Kaitlin Hansen.
And I'm your host, Krista Humphrey.
Krista, how are you?
I'm doing so good. How are you, Kit?
Good. I'm doing really well. So today we are going to talk about your birth story.
Yes.
I love it. And then you're wearing your cute bracelet.
My freshly picked Remember the Month You Fell in Love bracelet. I'm obsessed with it.
It's so cute. That color is so good too.
So good. And I love I love the moons. There's like some moon charms that represent like who you were, who you are now, and who you're going to become. I just find that so empowering because like we are just like in phases, in transition, and all this stuff like constantly, especially as parents. And it's so cool to like treasure each part of the era that you're in.
Yeah.
So I love it. It's so cool. It's such a cute little reminder.
Hey, well, tell us about your birth. Start from the beginning.
Okay. So I had a really overall positive birth experience.
Love that.
I really did. And before that, my third trimester was kind of crazy. Like I had gestational diabetes. I had kidney stones.
Oh my gosh.
I had false labor at 30 weeks. Like we thought she was coming so early. Like we just had the craziest third trimester. Okay. So it was kind of a roller coaster.
The kidney stones.
I thought it was in labor. It was awful.
So I had kidney stones my third trimester. I had them twice.
For each pregnancy?
No, just my first. And I was like, I don't know what labor feels like. So I went in and I got admitted both times to labor and delivery.
Okay.
It shouldn't be allowed.
It shouldn't be allowed. And like, so we were sitting at dinner, my brother's birthday dinner, and like the pain was coming every 3 minutes. And I was like, these are contractions.
Yeah.
And I was like doubled over. And
had you ever had one before?
So they run in my family. And when I first got married, I can't remember if I had a kidney stone or like, what's it called when it's like a fragment or something, a shard or something. Anyway.
Either way, still, it's like so painful.
Yes, it was so painful. Yeah, that was wild. I can't believe you did it too, though. Oh my gosh.
It was not good. I have chronic kidney stones.
You do?
I've like passed like 30 to 40 stones. I'm a seasoned pro in the stones.
How?
I don't know. They told me I have like the kidneys of an 80-year-old.
Do you just have like lots of calcium or something?
They're made of calcium oxalate. I've had them tested. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, whatever. But less about me, more about you. Back to your birth. Crazy third trimester.
Yeah, crazy third trimester. We decided to get induced just because of all of the things that kept happening.
How many weeks?
39.
Okay.
Perfect. Yeah, so I went in for a stress test. And they like couldn't get a good read on her, whatever. And so we decided to induce a week later.
Okay.
And when I got to the hospital, I was A1. And I was like, yeah, I did it.
Because have you been like checked before?
I was checked before.
Yeah.
And I was like a 1 and then quickly a 2.
Okay.
There. So
yay.
Yeah, it was good. So I had been doing all the things, like all the hippy dippy witches, that you do.
I did it all
like
too.
The primrose up the vagina, like all that stuff. Yes, all the things. Curb walking.
Oh, I was like bouncing on a ball.
Bouncing on a ball.
Pump.
Yes.
Not cute.
Yeah, I know. It is so not cute. Anyway, so I get like a quarter of a pill. They give me like, I can't remember what it's called. Not Pitocin.
But something to like soften your cervix?
Yeah, I think.
Okay.
Well, my cervix was really soft, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. So anyway, I'll speed this up a little bit. I'm so sorry.
You're good.
Anyway, I'm just like trying to remember. I'm like, it's a year ago. Anyway, so I start having my parents come at like 9. We check in at like 7:30. They come in at 9. We, hug. It's their first grandbaby, so they're so excited. So that was really fun and special. And then they leave, and then me and my husband are playing Super Mario Bros.
Fun.
So fun. And just having a blast, just excited,
Yeah.
And then around midnight, I'm starting to get like contractions. And they're like, I'm like, okay, it's starting. Like, here we go. Like, I can handle this because they were kind of light at first. And then like an hour later, they started getting like so intense. Oh. I started throwing up everywhere. It was just so bad.
Gosh,
yeah, it was like a lot. Well, looking back, like it's fast. Yeah. So it was good, right?
Yeah.
Like, anyway, so I'm like, bouncing on the ball. I'm like trying to do all these natural things because I took the natural birth class and I
Okay.
was like, okay, I'm going to do this. And my mom had said that her labors were really easy.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, maybe I'll have my mom's labors. Like
Yeah.
our pregnancies have been similar so far. Like this could be cool. I didn't get my mom's labors. No, I did not. They were very painful. So anyway, so I labored naturally until 4.
Amazing.
And then I was like, please, like, I think I need an epidural. Like,
Yeah.
let's do this. The nurse checked me and she was like, oh, you're only like a 5. And then they came in a little bit later because they couldn't find her heartbeat. So they had to like,
That's so scary.
so scary. I haven't slept all night, right? Because you don't sleep in the hospital.
No.
Anyway, and so they're like checking the baby's head and the doctor's like, oh, you're like a 7.
Oh my gosh.
You're close.
Yeah.
And so the epidural works on one side, but not the other side. So I'm still like filling like everything on one side and the other side is completely dead. I'm like, oh my gosh.
And isn't that the weirdest feeling?
It's so weird.
An epidural is trippy.
It's so, I kind of hated it.
Did you?
Like, I loved that I didn't feel pain.
Yeah.
Like, I loved that.
I mean, that's a plus.
Great plus. But like, I could not walk properly. I'm not kidding. For like a week after.
Oh my gosh.
Like, it was crazy. Anyway, so at 7:00, my doctor comes to check on me. And the plan was that I would give birth that night. So they were just going to get me to like a 2 or 3 through the night. And then the rest of the day, get me to a 10. And then that night I was going to have her.
Nice.
My doctor comes in at 7 a.m. She checks me and she says, you're a 10 plus 2.
Oh, God.
I was a mother freaking 12.
I didn't even know that was possible.
Neither did I. Yeah. I was like, what?
You're like, I was made for this.
I was made for this. Also, I had just barely gotten like another hit of epidural. It was finally working. I wasn't in pain. I was going to sleep for half an hour.
Yeah.
And then my doctor comes in and is like, let's go. And I was like, can I sleep for a second? So anyway, so they get everything like that they need to do. She needs to go check on other patients because she wasn't expecting to do me yet, right? So she comes back at 8. We get things started. And then I pushed for 40 minutes and she came out at 8:52.
Oh, cute.
Isn't that crazy?
Yes.
My first birth was like fast.
Yeah.
And I really do think it was because I did like all that prep before.
I'm sure.
So like the medicine, that's like a perfect little like antidote about me is like I am holistic and modern medicine together.
Oh,
you know?
I think that's like actually how I am too.
Yes.
I'm like, if there's medicine to help me, I'm going to take it. But
Totally.
like,
if there's something I can do naturally, like sure, I'll do it.
I like don't take ibuprofen for like a headache.
Oh,
but
look
like
at you.
No. But I'm like, I take my antidepressants.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
Cetraline.
Yeah. We're on the same one.
Oh, yes, we are.
Yes.
Yay. Cetraline sisters. There we go.
It's the good stuff.
Oh, it's so good. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Okay. So really quick, I just have to talk about as I'm pushing. Okay. So the baby is almost out, but my doctor is saying, Krista, like you need to get mad. Like she's almost here, but you need to push really good. So get mad so you push really good.
Yeah.
And the Jazz had just traded Mike Conley, who I loved. And they had just done a deal where Russell Westbrook would come for a second. He was just used as like a pawn in the grander scheme. But I was so pissed that we were going to get Russell Westbrook because I don't like him very much.
Yeah.
And that Mike Conley got traded, especially after he had just done like a deal with doTERRA. Like I was like, I thought that we had him locked down for a few years.
Baby boy is gone.
Yes. Anyway, and then they had just stripped Joe Ingles and Rudy Gobert and, you know, all of those people, Donovan Mitchell from us. We needed Mike Conley.
Yeah.
So I was really mad about that. So my daughter came into this world of me screaming about Russell Westbrook.
Wait, I love that.
So that is my birth story.
That's so good. And who did you have in the room with you?
Oh, so I just had my husband.
Mhm.
And like looking back, I think for my other births, I would love to have my mom in there. But in the moment, I just needed like myself and someone who could tell me like, this is going to sound really weird, but like, you're not special.
Yeah.
Like freaking do it. You know, like I just needed someone to tell me that because
like not sugarcoat it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So we had my sister-in-law come take pictures.
Yes, perfect.
Because she's a nurse and she's
amazing.
Very much like that. She's amazing. Yeah. For me, like my anxiety works in such a way that like I get caught in these like crazy, never gonna happen scenarios.
Yeah.
And so for me, that my affirmation, like on my like mirror in a post-it note is you are not a special snowflake. Like why would that crazy thing happen to you?
Yeah.
You think you're so special? Like,
Yeah.
you know.
No, I think that's like a good, I mean, like you are special, but
Yes.
like,
I mean,
no.
under it was like, I'm
Yes,
badass and stuff, you know, like,
yes.
but like for
But
my
that's a
brain,
good like perspective.
yes, my brain, I just needed to be like, why are you imagining the worst case scenario?
Yes.
Why would that be you?
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's really good to have both, right?
Oh, I think that's like powerful for sure.
Because I am a freaking goddess of life and
you
everything.
are.
Like, yeah,
all the things.
you bet your bottom dollar. Yeah. But also, why would the crazy things happen?
Yes.
You know, that's the overall birth story. I was so out of it because I was so tired.
Oh
like,
my gosh, yeah.
I know no one does well with little sleep, but like, I feel like I'm like next level, like,
oh, I'm my worst
a
self.
bobblehead. Yeah, like literally, like
you don't want to know me.
Amen. Yes. Yeah. And I don't even know myself. Like, it's just so bad. I like did not register that I had a baby. I was just like, what?
Yeah.
And I was so terrified of breastfeeding. I was actually more terrified of breastfeeding than giving birth.
Really?
Yeah. It was a really hard, like, mental thing. And I tried, and they have a name for it. I think it's DHE or something.
Okay.
But it's like when your milk comes in, you like get either really anxious or really depressed.
Okay.
And depression would happen, but also like the feeling of nails on a chalkboard, but like in my body.
See, I felt really anxious breastfeeding.
Yes. Okay. That's the thing.
And I was like, I was so much happier when I decided to like, okay, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. I was happier. And then my baby could feel that and was happier. So I'm like, you just got to do what works for you.
I am a huge proponent of that, especially because of what I've learned over the last couple of months. But in the beginning, I was like, my mom loved breastfeeding. I was like, oh, I have to love breastfeeding, you know?
Yeah.
And it was awful. I never got her to latch.
Yeah. It's so hard.
Pumped for 4 months.
That is so impressive.
I mean, I didn't pump for every bottle. I always
no, but still, like that's like you should be proud of yourself. It was crazy.
I am. Yeah. I am proud of myself. It was hard. It was really hard. You know, I always joke, you know how people say we breastfeed and supplement with formula?
Yeah.
I would say we formula feed and supplement with breast milk.
That's how I was.
Yeah. But it was just, I thought like I have big boobs. Like I'm going to produce a lot of milk.
No, it doesn't even matter.
I know. How stupid is that?
Some of the people with like the smallest boobs I know are like
mass producers.
In the most loving way. Like they're like, I don't even know, master producers.
Yes. Literally. Yeah. Like 10 ounces. My friend with the tiniest little boobies.
Yeah.
10 ounces in like 10 minutes. And I'm like,
it matters.
2 ounces and I've been pumping for 40 minutes.
Yes.
Like,
which that can feel like super defeating.
Yeah. Oh, it was so defeating. Yeah. It was so defeating. Anyway, so we decided to do formula. It was really nice because then my husband couldn't go. I had the normal like postpartum depression, anxiety. I hate when they call them baby blues.
I wholeheartedly agree. I hate that too.
I'm like,
hate it. Why are we not just calling it what it is?
I know.
It like almost like diminishes the way that you're, I don't know.
It totally diminishes. And it's like, I want to off myself. I'm not blue.
Yeah.
You know, like it's like exactly what you said. Like it totally diminishes what it is. And it is crazy that is normal.
Yeah.
That's like my first, I'm going to like go up to God. Like when I see him, I'm like, why do you hate women? Just kidding. No, I'm not going to say that. But I'm going to be like, why does this happen? Because like, this is one of my questions, you know, it's like, what the heck? But anyway, so I had that normal thing, but then it continued and it continued. And I had these like checkpoints of when I was like, okay, maybe I'm not okay. Like I kept having like these, someone was like, oh, well, you'll feel better when your baby's sleeping through the night. My baby slept through the night in 9 weeks.
That's
like was
incredible.
Amazing.
Yeah. Little dream.
So I was 6 months out and I was like, I feel awful still. They're like, oh, it'll get better. I was like, okay, crap.
Yeah. It's not.
It's not. Yeah. And another check mark. Like people would say like, oh, well, when this happens or this, you know, and I kept hitting those and I was like, okay. And then just in end of November, beginning of December, I finally was like, okay, I don't know how like dark we can get on.
Well, I mean, tell.
Well, I just want to talk about it just because like.
No, I think a lot of people struggle with this and I think it's important to talk about.
Totally. And so I just want to put it like a trigger warning. Yeah, trigger warning. I was like thinking about death and being happy. And I was like relieved. I was like, oh, that'd be nice. You know, and that really scared me.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't like other times when I was feeling depressed within the year where I was like going further with those thoughts or whatever.
Yes.
But like, it was like I was feeling happy to think about it.
Yeah. And that's so scary.
It's so scary. And I was like, I don't want to be like this.
No.
We struggled with infertility. And so then the first almost whole year, because December, she was born in February, almost the first full year, I was kind of hating it.
Yeah.
And it was awful. And I was like, this is not me. Like, I had moments of like, wow, this feels awesome, but like, I still don't like it, you know?
Yeah.
And it sucked. And I felt like such a failure as a mom, as a wife. Like, it was just awful.
So I had like a similar thing. I didn't get like postpartum right away, but it like slapped me upside of the face at like 4 months. And that's kind of how I was for the next like 6 months. It was so rough. And
I'm so sorry.
No,
That's
I'm
so
like,
hard.
I'm in such a better place now.
Me
So I'm
too,
like,
yeah.
it does get better.
It does get better. That is a message like, and I know when you're in the suck, sometimes that doesn't feel good. You're like, oh, it will get better. Okay. But it's like, if I could just tell you, like, look forward 12 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, you will feel better. Like, you will sleep again.
Yes.
You will feel better. I just feel like this protective, like, motherly instinct over, like, new moms. I'm like, let me just take care of you. Like, it's going to get better. But anyways, I got on Cetraline in December. That's when I was like, okay, enough is enough.
Yes.
Best decision I have ever made.
Same.
It wasn't like I was against meds. I was so pro meds. If someone told me they were taking meds, I was like, hell yeah, girl, like, good job, you know?
Yes.
But I, just for myself, I was like, oh, I can overcome it. Like, I am a happy girl.
Yeah.
And I'm actually like compiling kind of like a guide, a handbook. It's called
I like that.
Happy Girl's Guide to Postpartum Depression.
I love that because it's really not talked about.
It's not talked about. And anxiety, I've had my whole life.
Yeah, same.
And the good thing about depression is my anxiety kind of went away because I didn't give a crap.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, not good, but
right. No,
it's nice to not always be anxious.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
I was like, I was too depressed to care. But I just like didn't know how to handle it. Like, I don't know how to handle this level of depression and like how you keep going and how you like your life.
So, question, because this is how I felt. I felt so guilty also that I was like,
guilty.
So many people would kill for this. And I'm like over here just like hating my life. And I'm like, I have no reason to not be so grateful. And then it also was like debilitating in the fact that like, I know I need to like go get help.
Yeah.
But it feels too overwhelming to like make an appointment and like figure that out.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Yes. So much guilt.
Yeah.
And you know those little sheets that they give you?
Yes.
I never filled one out. I was like, yeah, I think about killing myself every day, but I'm not going to tell you that. You know, like, I didn't want anyone to worry about me. I didn't want to cause a fuss.
Yeah.
Like, my husband knew most of it because he's my best friend and the best person, but like, I didn't want to make him scared, you know, things like that. But yeah. And I also, something that you said reminded me, like, I didn't want to be a statistic either. Like, people are like, oh, Utah's the #1 antidepressant state. Like, you guys are all depressed. And I started to reframe my mindset about that and saying, maybe Utah's the place where people get help.
Yeah.
And that is really cool.
Oh, for sure.
I feel like myself again.
Yeah.
I like am having these beautiful, like, I have always loved my daughter.
Yeah.
I have always been so grateful for her. But now I enjoy caregiving way more.
Yeah.
I enjoy our time together. Like, it literally is like the clouds have parted and I'm myself, and like, we have dance parties in the morning.
I love that.
I am like able to become the patient, happy mom that I want to be.
Yeah.
Because of Cetraline.
Oh yeah. I'm a lifer. I'm like a lifer. I'm like, why would I stop taking something that like helps me feel so good?
So good.
Especially when you've been on the other side of it too.
Yeah.
It's like, it's like, no.
So my doctor said, you know, she has lots of patients that are on it for 18 months and then they get off and their hormones have finally evened out.
Yeah.
So I think I'll try that.
Yeah.
But like, for now, I'm like, this is the greatest.
Yeah.
So shout out Cetraline.
Yeah.
Like,
we're your biggest fans.
Yes.
No.
And don't be afraid to be a statistic.
No.
Like, who cares?
Oh.
This is your life. You have one freaking life.
Yeah.
You have 1 or 2 or 3 or maybe a lot of kids, but like, this is their childhood, but this is your motherhood.
Yes.
So like, you need to work together. And if that means that you need to take care of yourself more, freaking do it.
I 100% agree. And like, if you need help, reach out to us.
Yes.
Like, there are so many resources. I'm
Yeah.
like a advocate for that too.
Totally.
One question I had for you
Oh, yes.
is I want to hear, so tell me about the women that came before you.
Oh, man. This is an awesome question because I have some amazing women that came before me. So on my side, I have my mom. Okay, Stacy is her name. And she is the second youngest. And she is an incredibly talented violinist.
So cool.
Yes. And she is so caring. And she's always thinking about other people. And she is always so happy to serve and like do things for other people. And it's like she just like emanates like kindness all the time. She's amazing. My mother-in-law, Renee, she is also an amazing woman, an amazing person. She is a pioneer in her own family, and she had been through a lot. She's been through a lot. She actually also formula fed. So she was like a really great support for me.
Yeah.
And my mom was too, but she just didn't understand.
Right.
Like, you know,
I think it's different when you like have done what, like you're in somebody's shoes. You have empathy and sympathy. And, Yeah.
She had like, before she married my father-in-law, she had like an abusive husband that left her with a 6-week-old, and she like was on food stamps, and she had to like get a job, and she had this baby. And so just like these amazing women. And then my grandma Sandy, they both passed on. My grandma Sandy, my grandma Janice, just like freaking badasses.
Love that.
Sorry to swear, Mom.
Same.
But yeah, I'm talking to my mom. Sorry, Mom. Anyway, just my grandma Janice was one of the only women to shoot rockets in a space, like a space center in California. And my grandma Sandy, she's someone that I still like feel connected to, even though she's passed. Like I'll have moments where I'll be like, oh, hey, Grandma Sandy. Like
I love
she's there, and she's just like, just a big part of my motherhood, I feel like, even though she hasn't been here, which I think is really cool. So yeah, just amazing women that I just feel so lucky to have for my daughter.
Yes.
You know, like that's what I love. Like I love powerful women. I'm like one of the biggest feminists, but also just like, go women. I guess that's a feminist. Yeah.
No,
but that you'll find. But I'm just so grateful to have those women for my daughter.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it sounds like you have really amazing role models.
Yes.
I love that. Thank you for sharing. Okay, one other one. Tell me about the mom you hope to be.
Oh, my goodness. So I touched on this a little bit, but just to dive more in, because I feel like for a long time, I had this vision of like what kind of mom I wanted to be. And then in the moments, in the nitty gritty, I didn't like it. And so I felt so much guilt again on like, just so much guilt on like, here I am in this position where lots of other people would want to be, and I don't like it. And I feel bad for not liking it. And anyway, just like a snowball.
Yeah.
But I want to be the kind of mom that just always like has music on and is like dancing and singing and fun and just like happy.
Yeah.
And I want my daughter to just not take life too seriously and just be joyful and happy. And like, I love that my mom would always have music playing, and she was just, you know, always trying to fill our home with like joy. And I never felt like a burden to my mom,
Love
like
that.
ever. And I never want Charlotte to feel like a burden.
Yeah.
Even though kids are hard.
They're definitely
Kids are hard, but she's never a burden.
Yeah.
Never a burden. And she is a joy. Like it is a joy to be her mom. So I want to just feel that. And I really, really want to be close with my daughter where like she can tell me things, and she can ask me questions, and I can tell her, and we can be really honest with each other. And I just want her to have a happy mom. Like I want her to have a happy growing up.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story with us.
Yeah.
That was like so special.
That was really good. Thank you for allowing me to talk about that. And I love learning more about yours too.
Yes. No, I'm like, one day I'll record mine.
You should.
Yeah, I'll do it soon. So
which one's crazier?
Probably my first.
Really? Okay. It's good to know.
We'll dive
a little
into
foreshadowing.
it.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Well, thanks for listening.